So the next thing I'm going to show you how you can add in is a scoreboard. You can use this label class that I've created here. It's not very powerful, but it basically just lets you put text into your game. So the first thing I'm going to do is just add one so I can kind of look at the placement of where I want it to be. So right now I just did 0 as sort of my initial test where it's going to start the game. So let's just say I wanted to put it somewhere like that. Then I can go and get its coordinates just so I know where I want to place it when I formally put it in my world. So let's just have a look here. 22, so I'll probably just call it 20 just to keep it reasonable. And then my y coordinate here, we'll also call it 20. So we'll go into the world that keeps track of the video game for you, or you can think about it as your level, the name I've called it. And that's one thing that I want to be able to manage here. So I'm going to remember that I have a label, and I'm going to call it my scoreboard. Okay, so as I said, there's a couple things about it that we're just going to throw into the game right now. The first is that my scoreboard is a new label, and the text starts life as a 0. You can go and look at all the methods to update the font size, all that other good stuff on your own time, or you can even write your own label class. Now, of course, I need to add this object, scoreboard, and we just saw that 2020 was sort of the location that I was looking for. Now, I want people to be able to access this, but the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to make a change score. That way it can go up or down if I'm damaged. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask the scoreboard. So I'm going to say string value is scoreboard dot get label. Now there is a way of converting this. There's a kind of a two-part process. You have to use the integer as a class. It's just a wrapper of the int, so it does a few more fancy things. So I'll just call it score, and it's a new integer, and I'm going to ask it to build it from this string. Now that's fancier than just an int can do, because an int can't do this. It needs a method, it needs a constructor like the integer does. Now the good news is that you can now interchangeably use this with other integers. So I can say int new score is the score I just read plus however much you want me to change it by. And then I'm just going to update the scoreboard. So scoreboard dot set the label to be the new score. Now a label needs to take on a string. It can't use an integer, it needs to know text. So one way you can quickly just convert it to text is to join an empty string, so it won't add anything to it. It'll just be a blank space. Well, not even a space, it'll just be blank, but by joining it to the integer, it forces that now to become a string in Java. So now someone can get the world and they can say, please change the score for me. And I'll show you where that's going to be important. For me, I'm going to do it in the paratroopa. So a paratroopa, when it removes itself, I want to award points. So in my mind, when I'm thinking, so whose job is it to manage the scoreboard if paratroopa is being removed gets you points? Well, this is where it actually happens, where a paratroopa would be removed. So this is the person responsible for informing the world. So now what I'm going to do is I actually need that method we created. So I have to cast it and say it's more than just a world, it's actually a level. So here a world is a level is a world, but now I'm getting the more specific version of it. Sorry about that, I must have bumped the mouse. Okay, so it'll behave exactly as it had before, only now I can say my world dot, and I'm able to update the score. So the method that we were using here, change score, let's just say that it's worth 10 points. We'll now add 10 points to the world. And again, I understand that we've already removed that paratroopa, but in this case, what I'm operating on is the world that I saved. So I'm not asking for it again where it would be null. And I don't need the information I need is not relevant to being inside the world. It's worth 10 points inside or outside. And again, we could use a variable for what the score in a paratroop is worth. But now it can communicate to my game so that when Mario shoots a paratroopa and it's removed, it'll award me 10 points. Alright, so it's running. I'll shoot him with a fireball. Possibly a couple of times here. But now I have 10 points.